Captain Elias Hart adjusted the controls of his starship, the Horizon, as it glided silently above the crystalline forests of Zephora. The planet shimmered like a jewel from space. Its towering crystalline trees reflected the twin suns, scattering prismatic light across the valleys below. Elias leaned back in his seat, sipping the last of his morning coffee. He had faced hostile planets, turbulent nebulae, and the occasional mutinous crew member, but today's mission felt different. Zephora was beautiful, but its inhabitants were known for their caution, almost distrustful of humans. The Galactic Council had warned him. The Veyan people see humans as brutal and reckless. Approach carefully. Elias chuckled softly to himself. Humans were bold, yes, but he believed brutal was a label created by misunderstanding. A soft chime interrupted his thoughts. The ship's communicator activated, projecting a shimmering hologram of an alien figure. Her form was elegant, humanoid, yet distinctly alien. Her skin glowed faintly with a soft green luminescence, and her eyes, large and silver, held a mixture of curiosity and caution. "Captain Hart," the hologram said, her voice calm and precise. "I am Lyra Veyan, assigned as your diplomatic liaison." "Welcome to Zephora, Lyra," Elias said, smiling warmly. "The pleasure is mine. I must say, your planet is more beautiful than any description I've read. Truly extraordinary." Lyra's eyes flickered, and Elias noticed a subtle tension in her posture. She was polite but guarded. That was to be expected. Humans often had a reputation that preceded them, one that emphasized strength, aggression, and fearlessness. Elias, however, preferred honesty and directness. "I would like to show you my ship," he said suddenly. "It may be unconventional, but I believe it will help you understand humans better." Lyra blinked. "Your ship? This is highly irregular. Human customs are unpredictable." "That's true," Elias admitted, grinning. "But sometimes seeing is believing." Lyra hesitated. Her people had been taught that humans were brutal, a word that implied danger. Yet something in the human's calm, confident manner made her pause. After a moment, she nodded. "Very well. I shall observe." The transporter room hummed as Lyra stepped aboard the Horizon. Her movement was precise and measured, yet Elias noticed the curiosity hidden behind her disciplined posture. He gestured toward the main deck. "This is where most of the crew spends their time when we are in orbit," he explained. "You'll notice it's not fancy in the way your society might expect. We focus on function and adaptability." Lyra examined the room carefully. The deck was sleek with smooth surfaces, interactive holographic panels, and various devices she did not recognize. A subtle warmth emanated from the ship's walls, comforting yet unfamiliar. "It is functional," she said carefully. "Yet there is a certain charm. Humans design differently from Zephora. You value creativity?" Elias chuckled. "We do. Creativity, curiosity, courage. Sometimes we get called reckless for it, but I'd say it's more like resourcefulness." Lyra's silver eyes widened slightly. "Resourcefulness? Yes, I can see that. It appears bold, even audacious," Elias smiled. "Boldness is part of being human. We face uncertainty head-on. Sometimes it looks dangerous to others, but we trust in our abilities, our logic, and sometimes in a little luck." Lyra tilted her head, studying him. She had expected a formal introduction, a structured meeting where every word was calculated. Instead, Elias exuded confidence and warmth, qualities she hadn't anticipated from a species labeled as brutal. "I would like to show you something," he said, leading her toward a large viewing deck. Transparent walls revealed Zephora's forests below, sparkling with the reflection of the suns. Holographic maps floated in the air, displaying orbital trajectories and planetary data. "This is our observation area," Elias explained. "From here we can see the planet and its orbit clearly. I find it helps to understand the environment before making any decisions." Lyra stepped closer to the glass, mesmerized. "Your humans observe and analyze differently. You act boldly, yet you prepare meticulously. It is surprising." "That's the idea," Elias said. "We rely on courage and logic together. Neither works well alone." They walked toward a sleek workstation. Elias activated a series of holographic projections, showing simulations of Zephora's orbit and potential space anomalies. Lyra watched intently, absorbing every detail. The aliens she had worked with before would have considered such open collaboration unnecessary and informal. Yet Elias welcomed her input, asking questions, listening carefully to her suggestions. You encourage dialogue, Lyra observed, even with someone of another species. Humans are not as blunt as we were told. Perhaps the word brutal is misleading. Elias laughed softly. Brutal? I'll admit humans have their moments, but mostly we are bold, curious, and direct. That's what people often mistake for aggression. I like to think we just see the world as a place to explore and improve. Lyra blinked, momentarily at a loss for words. She had been prepared to meet a dangerous, forceful human, yet here was a man inviting her into his world, sharing his technology, and engaging her mind. You are different from expectations, she said finally. Expectations are often wrong, Elias replied. Let me show you more. He guided her to the ship's laboratory. Rows of advanced devices glowed softly, humming with energy. Some created small holographic projections of planets, while others tested chemical reactions in controlled environments. Elias demonstrated a few experiments, explaining the principles behind them with clarity and enthusiasm. Lyra watched, fascinated. Your humans combine knowledge with boldness. It is impressive. Thank you, Elias said. We like to try new ideas. Sometimes they succeed, sometimes they fail spectacularly, but either way we learn. Lyra paused. She had expected humans to rely on brute force, as her society's teachings suggested, yet she now saw ingenuity, patience, and a surprising sense of humor. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but in ways that were fascinating rather than frightening. Elias noticed her growing interest. Curious about how we adapt to unknown challenges? He asked. Lyra nodded. Yes, it is. Enlightening. Good, he said. I was hoping you'd see that humans are more than their reputation. Sometimes we surprise even ourselves. The two continued exploring the ship, discussing differences in culture, technology, and philosophy. Elias demonstrated a small simulator where they could pilot a craft together, navigating through asteroid fields and avoiding orbital debris. Lyra handled the controls with precision, but Elias's confidence and experience guided them safely through the simulation. You humans are audacious, she said, her voice reflecting a mix of admiration and disbelief. You face danger with confidence and creativity, Elias added. Humans face the unknown with both. It keeps life exciting. Lyra laughed softly, a sound she rarely allowed in formal settings. Exciting. Yes, I suppose that is one word for it. As the simulation ended, Elias leaned back, observing her reaction. Lyra, I know this might seem unconventional, but I wanted you to experience human boldness firsthand. Many species fear it without understanding it. You now see it in action. Lyra nodded, still trying to process everything she had witnessed. She had entered the ship expecting a rigid, perhaps dangerous human. Instead, she found a man who was confident yet respectful, bold yet thoughtful. Her perception of humans had begun to shift. You are remarkably different from what I was told, she admitted. Elias smiled. And you, Lyra, are an excellent observer. You're starting to see that humans are complicated, sometimes unpredictable, often audacious, but always capable of cooperation and ingenuity. She paused, then spoke softly. I'd underestimated humans. I can see why some would call you brutal. Yet, you are also courageous, clever, and honest in ways my people rarely expect. That's all I ask, Elias said. Understanding before judgment. Boldness with purpose. For a moment, they stood in silence, the glow of the twin suns reflecting off the ship's panels. Lyra's mind raced with new possibilities. Could humans and Xiferans work together despite their differences? Could audacity and caution combine to achieve something remarkable? I must report my findings to the council, Lyra said finally. But I will speak differently now. Humans are not merely forceful, they are resourceful, bold, sometimes reckless, yes, but never mindless. Elias nodded, pleased. That's all I hoped for. Sometimes the truth is best experienced, not explained. Lyra looked at him, her expression a mixture of respect and newfound curiosity. Captain Hart, your ways are unconventional, yet they are effective. You have left me speechless, Elias grinned. I'll take that as a compliment. As Zephora's suns dipped toward the horizon, casting long, glittering shadows across the forests below, Lyra understood that humans were unpredictable and bold, but in the best way. She had entered the ship expecting caution and formality, yet she found honesty, ingenuity, and courage. Elias had shown her that human boldness was not brutality, but a force for understanding, discovery, and cooperation. And in that quiet moment orbiting a strange, beautiful planet, both human and alien realized that the journey ahead would be remarkable if they could combine human audacity with alien wisdom. The starship Aurora floated silently above the planet Zephyra, its metal frame glinting under the twin suns. Commander Elias Hart, a seasoned human soldier, gazed out of the observation window. The mission had seemed simple at first: patrol the outer colonies, prevent pirate attacks, and make contact with any new intelligent species. Yet, something about Zephyra felt different. The planet's surface shimmered with a strange, almost liquid-like energy. Valleys of violet grass stretched as far as the eye could see, punctuated by luminous trees whose branches hummed softly in the wind. Reports had indicated the presence of an intelligent alien species called the Leora, a peaceful race with delicate features and iridescent skin. But Elias couldn't shake the uneasy feeling crawling down his spine. He recalled the first time he had encountered one of their kind. Years ago, during the Zephyra conflict, he had saved a young Leora girl from a group of rogue miners who had attacked her village. She had looked at him with eyes too wise for her age, and in that moment he had promised silently that he would protect her. Now, after years of deployments across galaxies, the memory had resurfaced, and according to the latest transmission, the girl, now grown, had requested to meet him. "Commander Hart, the Leora delegation is approaching your coordinates," said Lieutenant Mara, Elias's trusted second-in-command. Her voice carried both excitement and caution. "They're sending only one representative." Elias's heart skipped. Could it really be her? He had been told she survived, but seeing her again was another matter entirely. He nodded, straightening his uniform. "Prepare the shuttle," he said, his voice steady though his mind raced. The shuttle descended slowly, kicking up violet dust as it landed near a sparkling river. From the tree line emerged a figure, tall and graceful, moving with an elegance only Leora could possess. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver under the sunlight, and her eyes, a deep shade of sapphire, locked onto Elias instantly. Time seemed to pause. Elias felt a strange mix of recognition and awe. "Lyra?" he whispered, his voice barely audible. The alien girl, now clearly a young woman, paused a few steps away, her gaze fixed on him. Then, with a gentle smile, she spoke in perfect galactic common, the universal language of the Interstellar Alliance. "Elias Hart, you saved me once. I have waited for the day I could thank you properly." Memories came rushing back. The way she had cried in his arms as the miners threatened her village. The way she had clung to him despite her species' tendency to keep distance from humans. And now she was here, grown, confident, and radiant. Elias approached slowly, careful not to startle her. "I never expected to see you again," he said, his voice tight with emotion. Lyra tilted her head, her eyes reflecting the twin suns above. "The universe is vast, yet it seems to have a way of bringing people together who are meant to meet." The shuttle ride back to the starship was quiet at first. Lyra stared out the window, marveling at the view of Zephyra from above. Elias kept glancing at her, seeing not just the alien beauty of her form but the humanity in her expression, the same trust she had shown him years ago. Finally she spoke. "You saved my life when I had no one. I was small, frightened, and powerless. You gave me hope. That hope has carried me through years of uncertainty." Elias swallowed hard. "I didn't do much. Any soldier would have done the same." "No," Lyra said firmly, turning to him. "Not any soldier. Only you had the courage to act when it mattered most. Only you saw me not as a creature to be ignored, but as someone worth saving. I will never forget that." The honesty in her words struck Elias deeply. He had spent years in war zones, seen countless lives lost, and yet, this moment felt like the most real thing he had ever experienced. Days passed aboard the Aurora, and Lyra adapted quickly to human ways, though she remained distinctly Leora in every graceful movement and thoughtful gesture. She accompanied Elias on briefings, learning about human strategy, culture, and history. In return, she shared her own people's knowledge, how the Leora communicated through subtle vibrations in the air, how they harvested energy from the planet without harming it, and how they valued connection and memory above all else. One evening, as the ship orbited Zephyra, Elias and Lyra found themselves alone on the observation deck. The twin suns were setting, casting purple and gold streaks across the sky. "Why did you want to meet me after all these years?" Elias asked, genuinely curious. Lyra's gaze softened. Because humans, you have a strength that transcends your physical form. You fight, yes, but you also hope. You protect even when no one asks you to. That is rare in the universe. I wanted to see for myself if the person who saved me was truly as remarkable as I remembered. Elias chuckled quietly, shaking his head. I'm just a soldier doing my duty. No, she said, stepping closer. You are more. You see life where others see obstacles. You create trust where others see fear. That is why I wanted to find you. For the first time, Elias allowed himself to feel the weight of her words. Years of hardened training and battles faded, leaving only the memory of a promise he made to a scared girl years ago. And now she stood before him, proof that some acts of humanity ripple across time and space. Their peace was soon interrupted by a transmission from the Zephyrah High Council. The Leora planet was facing a threat. Pirates from the outskirts of the galaxy had begun to exploit Zephyrah's energy-rich resources. The Council requested Elias's help in protecting their people. Lyra's face hardened. They're the same type who attacked my village when I was a child, she said quietly, her voice trembling with restrained anger. We cannot let them harm anyone else. Elias placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. We'll protect them. You're not alone this time. Together, they prepared for the journey to the planet's surface. The bond between human and alien had rekindled, stronger than ever. Each knew that what lay ahead would test them, not just as soldier and survivor, but as friends who had shared a profound connection across species. The shuttle descended through Zephyrah's violet skies, engines humming softly. As the planet came into view, Elias could see villages nestled among glowing forests, rivers winding like silver ribbons and people going about their lives, unaware of the storm approaching. Lyra turned to him, eyes shining. I trusted you once. I trust you again. Lead us, human soldier. Elias nodded. We'll face it together. As the shuttle landed, a sense of determination filled them both. The past had shaped them, the present demanded action, and the future, unknown and dangerous, would be faced side by side. The alien girl who once clung to him in fear now walked with him in courage. And Elias, the soldier who had saved her, felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope that no matter how vast the galaxy, humanity could make a difference. The first battle of their renewed alliance was about to begin, but in that moment, under the twin suns of Zephyrah, they allowed themselves to simply be together. The universe could wait.